This is one of the harder videos I've ever had to plan. Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to a video in which I'm going to discuss music and then, any idea that it might relate to my reading tastes, my reading habits. I decided to come outside and do this because sound quality in my new house, sorry about moving the camera there, is a little iffy in lots of places, and it's just kind of a beautiful morning in a beautiful place, so I thought I'd come outside. This is an idea that was created by Greg over at Another Bibliophile Reads, and so I was out for my walk this morning. I thought, I've written down the 12 songs. I was thinking about making this video. I'll just go ahead and do it. So the idea is that these are my 12 favorite songs, which I'll talk about in just a moment, and then somehow we're supposed to see how they might relate to my reading taste. So the first thing I need to tell you is that I really am a music kind of person. I don't play an instrument. I used to sing a lot before my voice got really bad as I got older, and I had a lot of really kind of definite musical taste over the years. Pretty much fallen off, as I think is probably common with people, when they get to be a little bit older, they stop listening to music, in the same way. But as is true with my reading, I usually followed rabbit holes in my music, so that a lot of the songs that I like are just my favorite song by a certain band or a certain performer or a certain group. And this is a list, if you ask me tomorrow, might be different because it was different when I wrote it out a few days ago. But anyway, here we go. 12 favorite songs, not necessarily in any order. These are just the order I thought of them in. So in number 1, I have The Weight by the band. The band is just, I think, a great musical group. Sorry about sweating. And The Weight kind of tells the story, theoretically, of a traveler coming to town and meeting some unusual welcomes. Just a really great song. I'll leave links to this song and all the other songs in the show notes down below. Second is Red Barchetta by Rush. Rush, if you may know, was my favorite band when I was in high school. That's really was my musical taste for a long time. Really got into Rush. Saw them more in concert than any other band. And Red Barchetta tells the story of a dystopian future, which, by the way, is completely the opposite of my musical taste, or my reading taste now, in which cars have been outlawed. And just a really good song, and I think Rush's best song. The third song on my list is one of the ones that was toughest to pick because it's one of my favorite bands, and that's The Ocean by Led Zepplin. There are a number of Led Zeppelin songs I could have picked here, but The Ocean, I think, is my favorite. I like the way, the kind of syncopation, the driving beat of The Ocean. Kashmir would be my second favorite Led Zeppelin song, but I did choose The Ocean, which again is odd because I really don't enjoy the beach at all. At number 4, I have Flooding Down in Texas by Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is, I'm from Texas. This probably indicates, my love for things that are Texas, not all things that are Texas, particularly politics, but Stevie Ray Vaughan among them. And it tells the story of a man who is separated from the woman he loves because of flooding and all the telephone lines being down. The fifth song on my list is Lateralus by Tool. Again, this was a difficult pick for me because there are a lot of Tool songs that I really like. Tool is kind of a late in life find for me. I'm a little too old to be a Tool fan, but I am nonetheless. And Lateralus is basically built on a Fibonacci sequence, and it kind of talks about achieving a level of a higher level of consciousness perhaps, and being than we normally do. And I just think it's a great song. It's about 9 minutes long, so there you go. At 6, I have my favorite Pink Floyd song, and I do like a lot of Pink Floyd songs, but Wish You Were Here is my absolute favorite. I really love the line, we're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground, but have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here. Those are some of my favorite lyrics in the song. Really like Pink Floyd, so there's that. Number 7, a song from the 90s, which I've talked about in my story on my channel before, and that's Fade Into You by Mazzy. There's just something hypnotic and beautiful, and there's a longing in the song Fade Into You by Mazzy that's just great, and I really like it. It's one of those songs, if it comes on the radio, I'm instantly leaving the channel alone. I'm listening, yes, I'm old to listen to the radio, listening all the way through and wishing I'd heard the entire thing. Number 8, another kind of late in life band for me is Rage Against the Machine. Really love their political content, a lot of which I agree with. Maybe not quite to the extreme as their lyrics indicate, but Bomb Track is my favorite, I think, Rage Against the Machine song, and it probably represents, my ideas about politics, and maybe is reflected in my reading in terms of my political reading. Number 9, I have Never Entered My Mind by the Miles Davis Quintet. I love jazz music. I think if there's something jazz music represents to me, it represents the 50s and the 60s and kind of a time period in which hopefully things were changing and there was, a real interest in art and literature and music, I think, that goes beyond maybe what we see today. Maybe that's just an old man, yelling at clouds. Number 10, I have Nothing Compares to You. This is the Chris Cornell recording of the Prince song. It was done like in a radio studio performance, and it's just incredible. Chris Cornell, I think, had one of the greatest singing voices in rock and roll, and it's a really beautiful rendition of the song, and I guess made more poignant perhaps by Cornell's decision to take his own life later on. Number 11, I have probably the most fun song on my list, and that's Bonin and the Boneyard by Fishbone. Again, this is a song I've mentioned on my channel before. I used to do a Saturday hodgepodge thing where I usually included some music I'd been listening to. Bonin and the Boneyard is just incredibly fun. It's inappropriate, but an incredibly fun song. Fishbone later became a lot more political in their tone and stuff like that, and that was great too. But this is just a purely fun, inappropriate song. And the last on my list is Hard Place by H.E.R. This is probably one of my latest obsessions, is the band H.E.R. and the musicianship in that band. And Hard Place, I think, is just an incredibly beautiful song about how difficult love can be, and maybe, that's reflected in my strange, perhaps, love of love stories in books. Anyway, there you go. If you have ideas based on these songs about how this might reflect in my reading taste, please leave those in the comment section down below. And if you want to list your 12 favorite songs and what you think they say about you as a reader, do that as well. As always, thank you for watching.